Good day and welcome back to Talking Technical. And as always, thank you for the request that you guys sent through via our email, frans@fransdeklerk.com, or even on Twitter. And I even received some requests on WhatsApp. And we're keen to help any request because it's just a service to the public. So you can send in your requests. And remember, if you are a Candle of the Day subscriber with us, you can have 5 free requests per month. And sometimes, if we write about something and the level change, you just drop us an email and say, Frans, I saw that you called a certain share that's interesting. It looks like it's rallying even a little bit further or falling further than I thought. Can you maybe give me some new levels? And we do it with the greatest of pleasures. Remember, our subscriptions is twofold. The one is to teach you so that you can see what we see. And the other function is that if you like a share, you just drop us an email and you ask about it because sometimes we find that some of our viewers or even our subscribers have wonderful knowledge and they're looking at the share for months, and then when they pick something up, they just want the confirmation and see what we think. And I mean, that's a vital tool. So it helps you to guide your thinking. And on the other hand, if you see that we're seeing what we see, then you can buy or even you can sell. Now, one of the requests was Orion Minerals. Now, I mean, last week we saw this massive jump in volume. Now, it was also twofold. The one was a director that had to do his options or finish off with his options. So there was a massive spike in volume there. And on the other hand, it looks like that there was a company that wanted to increase their stake in Orion and they decided against it. So it was almost a flush of selling. But for me, it's quite simple. And the request was, Frans, when can I buy Orion? Because I also see this spike in volume. Now, first of all, look at this massive spike here. I mean, the stochastic is nowhere. It doesn't give us a proper clue. But what it tells you is on this specific day, and that was on the 14th of November, there was a lot of sellers. I think there was 90 million shares traded on that day. So there was a lot of sellers, but then there was also buyers. Although the candle or the volume shows red, why? Because on that day the share closed negative. That's why it's red. But it's quite simple. A lot of shares changed hands. But for me, I said, let's wait for a proper reversal. At this point in time, let's just zoom it out for you. There's no proper reversal. Yes, what we do see is that the low of this candle was 14 cents. So there were some people that actually said, but if it gets to 14 cents, we're going to buy some and we're going to protect the price there so that it doesn't go lower. But for me, at the moment, it trades at around 19 cents. And I showed this chart many a time before. I know if this company is going to come into production and they're going to surprise, remember they involved with the field of copper. Now we know worldwide that there is a shortage of copper building up, and we can maybe find that in time to come that this little Mickey Mouse share can suddenly show some oomph and surprise us, but it's not the time yet. Now for me, first of all, that 19 cents is a level. Let's just draw in the resistance there. So for me, the first tiny light in this dark tunnel after the selling will be if the share can close above 90. Then there's another resistance. The second sign that something is maybe on the boil, and this is for me a stronger level. Why? Because the 50-day moving average and this resistance is almost exactly at the same point, and that is at 22 cents. Now, the moment the share gets above 22 cents, two things will happen. The one is all these buyers that bought here right at the dip, remember they bought that day and the share closed at 18 cents. Suddenly they will believe that above 19 cents, they're okay with their purchase. But if they get to 22 cents, these buyers of this, let's call it 90 million shares, will suddenly say, whoa, we are 2 cents in the profit. And we're not that keen to sell then. And The 50-day moving average that I always see as a wonderful barometer for somebody to say, I'm positive about the share or negative about the share over the medium term. Above 22 cents, different story. These buyers will say, okay, I'm happy, I'm sitting on my stocks. And these guys that sold you will say, oh, I think we've made a mistake. But above 22 cents, that will be my first proper sign to say that something can develop. And if you do buy above that, use 18 cents as your stop loss. Now, the next one is this, and that is 25 cents. Now, it sounds like it's far away, but I mean, this share was about a month and a half ago on 25 cents. So 25 cents is the big resistance. But for me, the big one is this 28 cents, because we've seen this many a time. Every time that the share gets to 28 cents, there's a lot of sellers always selling it down. And above 28 cents, I think we'll probably find by then a proper U reversal or a rounding bottom, and then the share can maybe start to surprise us to the upside. So for me, first sign, 19 cents, 22, I like that level, then 25, big level, and then 28, you know that this share is on the go and it can maybe go much higher. So there's all the levels. Let's watch it. But the big thing, I mean, if you bought or you sold 93 million shares on that specific day, I'm sure you're watching the share closely. If you're one of the viewers, maybe if you pop into Vosburg, I can give you some lekker skaapstertjies so that you can enjoy it, and then you tell me why you sold your 93 million shares, or even you bought your 93 million shares. Okay, the next one is another share that troubles a lot of people, and they say, when is this share ever going to turn around? And if so, is it going to happen? Because we're all negative, and that is Purple Group. I mean, this company has some wonderful assets. I mean, they own easy equities. They've got some wonderful stakeholders. Let's just cancel the volume there. So for them, I think they've got a good business. But if I look at the chart here. Let's just use a line chart to give you an idea. This line chart just tells you nobody is interested in buying the share. Something is wrong. Either somebody is selling it and selling it and selling it. But same thing here, maybe the company will turn around, and it doesn't mean that you need to buy it, because look what's happening. It's giving you lower highs all the way. The only positive that I can say is look at this positive divergence that the stochastic is doing here. So eventually it will probably stop, because this positive divergence is giving you a tiny little guideline to say the momentum to the downside is in place, but some of the investors do not believe in that downside. So let's have a simple line here. Let's use a horizontal line. And some people sometimes ask me, Frans, why do you like these horizontal lines? And sometimes you look at the a line with a gradient, but I like horizontal lines because you know why? Because on that specific day, on the close of 61 cents, there was somebody that bought there and somebody that sold there. And the same principle that I just applied to Orion is to say when it gets above 61, some guys that bought it will be happy, and those that sold the share will be a little bit nervous. So for me, first sign of strength above 61 cents, your stop loss will be 59. But I think if you really want to buy it, wait for that line. And that is sitting at 67 cents, because by then you'll probably see higher lows in place. You will see a turn in momentum that it can maybe tick higher. And look at your 50-day moving average all the way to the downside. That sits at 77 cents. So only above 77 cents, the medium-term investors will say, we like the company, we can maybe invest in that. So if you do buy, use this level of 67 to buy, make use of your stop loss of 59. But I mean, look at the upward targets. Can you believe it? 70, 74, the 50-day, 76, 78, 79, and even 84. I mean, from 59. So it can really surprise all of us. I know some people that just bought purple for the drawer. They just leave it there. They believe that the company can turn around, but out of a technical way or technical viewpoint, for me, the momentum is still down. So let's be a little bit nervous on the share. Let's have a look at Santova. I mean, we've got all these issues now that suddenly in the Durban harbor that people are very nervous and they say to themselves, now what on earth is happening in Durban harbor? There's 71,000 containers just lying there. Nobody wants to sort it out. And you can also see Santova is a logistic company, is also under pressure. But what I see here is I see some higher lows. There's a low, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low. And it looks like there is in this havoc or in this period of uncertainty, some people starting to buy the share. But where will your proper sign of strength be? And that will be, let's use this line, there's your resistance line. If you draw that in, you can see that is just above that. So if you want to buy above 752, make use of a stop loss of 739, and your targets to the top, first of all, will be 780. Then you can go to 795 and even 801, and by the way, 821. Interesting fact, I've heard over the week that if the harbor is, let's say, not functional, and all these big freighting companies waiting for their stock to be offloaded or unloaded, the loss that they make, they don't charge it against a Santova or other logistical companies. They charge it against the South African government for the harbor that is out of service. So the harbor will actually settle that bill, and that will be millions. I think maybe millions of dollars. So yes, it looks like there's some investors that's keen on Santova. They're keen to nibble around here, stick to your stop loss. But I mean, after this beautiful sell-off, maybe it can just surprise us to the top and give us a little bit of a bounce out of this negativity that we've got here. Let's have a look at this one. It's actually a viewer that dropped me an email and said, Frans, I believe in the future of silver. And he said many months ago, you did look at the chart. I cannot even remember it. He said, but now suddenly this chart is of interest to me. And I like this chart. And let's have a look here. And the reason why I wanted me to discuss the chart, he wants to know if I see what he is seeing. Now, first of all, he didn't tell me what he's seeing, so I hope he drops me an email afterwards and say, Frans, but exactly what you show me is what I'm seeing. So then he'll be a happy camper. And it doesn't mean that I'm right. It just means that there's at least two guys seeing the same thing. And as we always know, two is always better than one. So what do we see here? This is Silver Majestic. It's a silver company listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And what do I see? I see a beautiful falling wedge here. I see the 50-day moving average that has just turned into a support. This 50-day moving average is exactly where the share is trading now at $5.24. And for me, if $5.24 can turn into a support, what can we see? We can see a little bit of a nice relief bounce here. And this brings me to something else. If you look at silver, if you look at gold, especially gold, and the gold price is just below 2,000, that tells me that there's a lot of people investing into gold, although the S&P and the Nasdaq and the Dow is doing extremely well. So there's a lot of investors that is a little bit nervous. That's why they're running to these commodities. And what do we see here? First Majestic Silver on the brink of a buying opportunity. My stop loss, let's get it at 486. And my target, if it plays out to the top, is $6.44. So Majestic Silver actually looks nice. I mean, and it has been under pressure for quite a while. Look here. Since last year, December, excuse me, it dropped all the way from $9 and is now trading at $5. So it's under immense pressure. So there's definitely some buying around here. And we're staying above the 50-day. I like that. By the way, let's have a look at gold. And I just said that there is people that is keen on gold and they are positive about gold because gold is slowly but surely ticking higher. Now, excuse me, but I can never forget Clive Roffey or Dr. Clive Roffey if I take or I look at the chart of the gold price. And that's in memory of him. He always was a staunch believer in gold. And I mean, he got a lot of flack when gold was under pressure. And I think there where he is now at a much peaceful place, he would just look at us and say, yes, I told you about gold. I'm maybe now between gold pillars, but now I know for sure that that gold is slowly but surely showing some strength. Now let's have a look here. There's the gold price here, and I'm seeing a inverse head and shoulder. And there's the inverse head and shoulder. There's the left shoulder. There's the massive head, and we're working on the right shoulder. So for me, that is in essence, it is positive. And the low of this right shoulder is sitting at $1,937. And while it's above $1,937, the right shoulder is in place. And look at the targets here. I mean, the target, if I do the conservative target, I'll do that now. And the full target is always from the head to the neckline. There you are. And while we're looking at it, thank you for all the viewers. I see the viewership is slowly but surely ticking higher on our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching the show. And let's have a look here, guys. Okay, there you are. The conservative target, if gold breaks above this neckline sits on 2010, then we can maybe see it's going to 2088, and the full target will be 2170. Now there's a lot of gold bulls that will like that, so that tells me that there's some buyers buying gold and they're keen on holding it, but as always the rule is it must stay or break above this neckline. Above this neckline, yes, it can be positive. Unfortunately, below that, it can turn around, but the 50-day moving average as well is telling me that there's some buyers, and that is sitting at 1,930. Let's have a look at palladium. Now, I mean, the platinum stocks is under, wow, what can I say, immense pressure. And what do we see here? The stochastic, once again, gives me a beautiful positive divergence. That's positive. But what I like about it, and remember, palladium is part of the platinum group of metals. Let's have a look here. There's a resistance line. And there you are. There's the support. And what do we see? Immediately we can say we see a falling wedge here. The falling wedge is still working, building, but what I like about it is this 50-day moving average that's on the brink of turning into a positive, and that is sitting exactly at $1,134, and we're now on 1072. And for me, I think the platinum stocks will surprise us all if the palladium price, and maybe we've got time to look at the platinum price as well, if the palladium price can break out of this unfortunate negative falling wedge, and then it can kick up. And where's my target? Let's quickly do the target for you. It is nice and close to 1300, but that will make a change to all these mines that's under pressure, because a lot of them are under pressure. That can take it actually a little bit higher to 1373. So let's see if platinum can eventually, palladium can eventually break out of that. Let's have a look at platinum. While we've got a minute or so to spare, platinum, let's see if that shows us. Oh, well, that's nice. Okay, I did the work already. There you are. There is the falling wedge. Guys, I like this. And for me, if I look at this chart, we're already above the 50-day moving average. The 50-day moving average is above 896. That's nice. It just gave a buying signal at 914. And I think the next higher high will be above 933. And if we can get above 933, I think the platinum counters and the palladium counters can start to give us some nice support to the upside. Reason why? They have been hammered to pieces. Well, just to finish the show off, Christel is due for little Christian. Next week, maybe I can give you the good news. He's probably on his way during the week. So thank you once again for watching the show. Thank you for watching it on YouTube and for the viewership. I didn't even know that so many people were watching. One of the viewers actually phoned me and said to me, Frans, thank you for putting it onto YouTube. We enjoy it. We miss it on TV, but we enjoy it on YouTube. So thank you for watching it. Visit our website, www.fransdeklerk.com, for more info. And as always, if God may be with us, we'll watch again and we will chat again. All the best.